All right, all right, all right, all right. All right. So today I'll be teaching you how to create the crystal ball effect in Photoshop. So look something like this, right? So what I want you to do is in the hub, go to the hub under resources. You should see this screen, right? So juxtaposition we already done. Photoshop images are the images that we'll work with throughout this course. And you'll see here, Photoshop Crystal Ball Classwork Submission. So you can click here, and this is where you'll submit your assignment as well. And here, you will see the man standing image. So I want you to right click this image, download the image, and it'll be saved either in your downloads section of your on your computer, or it'll be saved on your desktop, right? Let's X that out. So if we go to Photoshop, let me close this, right? So on Photoshop, you should see when you open up Photoshop, you see new file, open, home, your files, things of that nature. So you can go to open, and like I said, your computer will look different than mine. You may have downloads or you may have desktop. For this one, I actually saved the image on my desktop. Some of you may see downloads, and you just find that file. So I saved it on my desktop, man standing 3, and I'll open that image. So we have the image open, right? So if the image is small, what you'll do on your keyboard, you will hit Control, and right next on the top, you have the number keys. You'll see plus and minus. So you'll hit Control, minus to make it smaller, plus to make it bigger, right? Control minus, Control plus, small or bigger. All right, so make this image a little bit bigger so we can see it, right? Say first things first. What you want to do is here on your tools pad here, your tools menu. Some of your tools may look like this. What you do is you hit this arrow, you make it like a square. So you'll find the ellipsis tool. If we hover over, you'll see ellipsis tool, right? Some of you may have the rectangle tool open, right? So you'll hold this down, press and hold, and go to ellipsis tool, right? All right, the first things first, we want to make our circle. So you'll hit shift on your keyboard, and you'll press down and you'll begin to make your circle. Make a big enough circle so that you can fit the whole man in it, right? So we have our circle. It should be black. That's right. It should be black. Circle is black. So what you want to do is, circle is black. So you want to come up here. So your move tool, your very first tool, click your move tool. You want to move this right over that man like so. Okay. So we have them. We have the ellipsis tool right over the man, just how we want it, right? So now what we want to do is go to our layers panel. If you don't see the layers panel, just click on layers over in this area and it should pop up, right? So next step is to click on the background layer. Click the background layer, and you want to hit Control, CTRL, Control on your keyboard, hold it down, and hit J. And this is going to duplicate that layer. It's going to duplicate that layer. So let's do it again. With the background layer selected, Control J. And that layer is now duplicated. So now you have two backgrounds. You have the background and background copy, right? So what I want to do is take this background layer, click it, and drag it above the ellipsis layer. So your image should look like this. You should have that background layer right above. So you should have background copy, ellipsis, background, right? It should look just like that. So now, with that background layer selected, I want you to go up here to filter, hit filter, go down and find distort. And in the distort layer, you want to go to spherize. Spherize. Click spherize. Right? So with this spherize, you should have this at 100%. Some of you may see 50. You can move this. If it's not at 100, you can move it to 100. Or if it's not at 100, you can actually type in 100. But this should be at 100%, right? Once it's at 100%, click OK. You should see that image change. This is what you want. You want it to change, right? Good. So go back to your layers panel, and on the background copy, right click. Right click. You want to right click, and we're going to scroll down to create clipping mask. So click create clipping mask. Now you should see this kind of change, right? It changes. It's now with the clipping mask. It's now inside that ellipsis that we created earlier, right? So on your keyboard, I want you to hit Control T. Control T. Boom. Now you should see this box come around this area here, right? See the box? See the squares? Boom. Around the whole image. So with this Control T selected on your keyboards, I want you to hit Shift Alt, A-L-T, Shift Alt, and then I want you to drag and adjust that image so it actually fits inside of the ball, right? Let go. So now you got that image inside of the ball. So now we see that we still have a little bit, of this black area here. We want to fill that. So what I want you to do is we can adjust that just by hitting the Alt button. Hit the Alt button without Shift. And now you can kind of transform this image to fit a little bit better. You can move it down, right? And kind of play with it. Come down a little bit on here. And kind of just fit it inside of the area here. Just like that. We want to make it where it fits inside that circle. So this is perfect right here, right? This is good. So now we'll go over here and we'll click on the ellipsis layer, right? Click on the ellipsis layer. Boom, right? And on your keyboard, I want you to hit Control H. And it should takes away this black line around the ellipsis tool. If it doesn't take away the black line around the ellipsis tool, what I want you to do is go back to the ellipsis. Boom. And at the very top, you'll see these options up here. You'll see shape, fill, and stroke. What I want you to do is click on stroke. And right at the top, you'll see this red line. If you hover over it, it says no color. Click that. And then just click off. Oops. No. So you click that. And you click back to this move option. And you see that the line is gone. That's what we want. We don't want the line around the ellipsis tool. So that's one step there. So next, what I want you to do is go down to your layers pad again. Then I want you to right click on the ellipsis layer. Boom. And the very first option you should see is blending options. Click your blending options. It should bring up this layer style panel, right? So the first thing what you want to do is go down and find inner shadow glow. This right here. Click inner shadow inner shadow. And what you want to do is on the blending mode, select the drop down menu and go to linear dodge right here. Boom. Right? Linear dodge. Click this black box here because we want to change the color. Click the black box and you take this circle here and move it all the way over so you have white in the middle now. You have white as a selected color. You can already see the image start to change to the crystal ball effect, right? So once you have that color white, the opacity, let's change that to 50 and see what it look like. See? Kind of changes over. You know, you can move this and you see it gives it a different type of effect, but 50 is good enough for what we want right now. This little box that's selected, use global light, let's deselect that, right? We're going to deselect that. That looks good. And we're going to change the angle to 60 degrees. So now it's on a 60-degree angle. You see the image start to change, right? And we'll go down to distance. And let's change that distance to 40. I don't too much like that 40 because it gives a little bit too much white right there. So let's change that distance. Let's go to about, let's do like 18 to 20, like 18 and 19, right? And for the size, let's change that size to 20. That looks good. That looks good. Okay. Now right here on the quality, you see contour. If you click on this, the option all the way to the all the way to the end here, if you hover over it, it says Gaussian. Let's click that option, the curvy option here, right? So we got that option selected, the Gaussian contour option. So we can click off, right? So this is all that we're gonna do on the inner shadow portion of the layer style. So next, we want to click right here, the gradient overlay. Boom. You see everything turns white. That's cool. Gradient overlay. So blending mode, right here. We're going to go to, where we at? Right here. We're going to go to linear burn. So right here, linear burn. We're going to click that. Linear burn. We're going to change this opacity to about 60%. Then right here where it says gradient, let's click that, and let's use this middle one, which is foreground to transparent. Now look, on this gradient, some of you may not see, some of you may see something different, like it may have the blues highlighted, this and that. So click off of that, go to basics, and click the middle option, right? You see the image starts to change a little bit, right? So click back off of that. Under style, we should have linear selected, right? Now angle, so this is where we can kind of play with it here. So this angle, let's try 60% and see what it look like. 60% angle, it's all right. It's all right. It's still kind of dark, and we're gonna change that darkness up here in a minute. Let's go to scale. Let's kind of change this to like 90% scale. It's darkening up again. So you see how it's so dark? We don't want it to be so dark. So right up here under opacity, let's kind of lighten it up a little bit. Let's kind of go like 21 here. See, it gives now it's kind of lighter. Looks a little bit better. So everything is pretty cool. I like it like this. So Let's go ahead and click OK. So we have that crystal ball there now, right? Think we done. It looks different. It looks good. It looks like it's finished, but it's actually not finished. We're gonna go and kind of give it a little bit more give it a little bit more of that crystal ball effect. So going back to your layers menu over here, going back to the layers menu, we're going to go, we already got the ellipsis tool selected. So what we're going to hit is Control on your keyboard and J, which is going to duplicate it. Control J. So we duplicated it. So now we have two ellipsis layers. We had ellipsis one and ellipsis one copy, right? So go to the original ellipsis one, click on ellipsis one, right? And I want you to right click, and we're gonna scroll down and where it says clear layer style. So we're gonna clear the layer style. Boom. On ellipsis one, which is good. So we got that layer style cleared. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna hit Control T to transform it. So on your keyboard, hold down Control and hit the letter T. Boom. Transformed, right? Now I want you to hold down Shift. We'll go up to this top square here. If you hover over it, hold down Shift, and we're gonna drag this all the way down to about right here. You should have a black circle right here, right under your little crystal ball. This is what we want, right? Now what we want to do is, while holding that shift option, we're going to resize it, right? Let's resize this a little bit smaller, about right there. Bring it a little bit down to about right there. That's how we want it, right there. All right. So what this is going to be is going to give it a little shadow play. So now what I want you to do, while this is still selected, go to filter. Oops, hold on. So while this is still selected, we're going to click 2 times. Double click on the inside to get rid of the transform options. So with the ellipsis one still selected, go to filter, go down to blur. We're going to use that Gaussian blur again. And it's going to ask you to convert it to rasterize this image or convert to smart objects. I think on yours it should say rasterize. Just click OK. It's okay. Just click OK. And on the radius part right here, let's put about 103. You see it disappeared. So that's not what we want. So let's go down a little bit. So let's give it about 8.8 pixels. 0.8 pixels. So you see it kind of creates a little shadow effect, right? So we're going to hit OK. Now going back to the layers panel, right up here it says opacity. Now this is where we can play with the opacity a little bit, make the shadow appear a little bit. So we can kind of change this to like 75, 76 is good. You see we still got a little shadow play under there. So that's good. Click off of that. Now, in your layers panel again, scroll down, go to the last background layer, click on it, right? So now on your keyboard, hold down Control and press the letter J. And what this is going to do, it's going to duplicate a copy again, right? So make sure we're on background copy 2, the copy that we just created. Go to filter, go back down to blur, blur, and Gaussian blur. Boom. Now you see where we at now. So now we can kind of adjust this, the blur radius. Let's go down to, kind of like it like this, around 3.94, and hit. Okay. And boom, there you have it. The crystal ball effect. So if you're satisfied with everything, what you want to do is file, save a copy, right? Save on your computer. Pick a location. You can put it on a desktop. I usually put mine on the desktop. Man standing 1 copy. What I want you to do is right here, man standing 3, and enter your name. Right? We want to ensure that our format is a JPEG, JPEG, JPEG. Right? Save that. Hit OK right here. Go back to the hub. Answer your assignment. Go to add files. Files. And from my desktop is which where I saved it. And my file is man standing James. Upload. The file should be right here. And submit your assignment. And that'll be our classroom work for this week. And as you know, you'll also have to do one on your own after you've completed the classwork assignment. You'll have one to turn in on your own later this week. All right, so you should be able to create your first crystal ball in Photoshop. So thanks.